Welcome back to AFT Die Season 7. It is the finals, week 1. We've got 4 fantastic games. Let's get straight into it. It is Richmond versus Collingwood at the MCG. Richmond are going for 8 wins on the trot. Let's go to the first quarter. The first quarter's nearly done. The first final, it's done. Collingwood, they have kicked 5 goals, 6 to Richmond, 4 goals, 2. Collingwood are 10 points up, 36-26. Let's go to the second quarter. Collingwood, they were 4th, had 12 wins, 5 losses. All right, the second quarter, we've got Collingwood. They've kicked 6 goals, 1 to Richmond, 1 goal, 3. And at half time, Collingwood are up by 38 points. 73-35. Let's go to the third quarter of this final game, the first qualifying final. Third quarter has been done. Richmond, they've won the quarter by 4 points. They kicked 6 goals, 6 to Collingwood, 6 goals, 2. Richmond are down by 34 points. Going into the last quarter. Let's go to the last quarter. At this stage, Collingwood looks like they're going to the first preliminary final. And the final quarter's done, and Collingwood's won by 40 points. They kicked 6 goals, 2 to Richmond, 5 goals, 2 in that last quarter. Final scores, Richmond 16-13, 109 to Collingwood 23-11, 149. Well, Collingwood were in a grand final in season 5 against Port Adelaide, but didn't win it. So they are looking like they might get there. They've only got one more step to get to the grand final. All right, let's go to the second final. It is Western Bulldogs versus Port Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. Let's go to the first quarter of this final. All right, the first quarter is done. Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 2 goals, 6 to Port Adelaide, 1-3-9. Western Bulldogs are 9 points up, 18-9. All right, second quarter's done. Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 6 goals, 1 to Port Adelaide, 6 goals, 6. And at half time, Western Bulldogs are up by 4 points, 55-51. Let's go to the third quarter to see who gets away in the third quarter. All right. Western Bulldogs, they've kicked 6 goals, 2 to Port Adelaide, 4 goals, 4. And at three-quarter time, Port Adelaide are down by 14 points, 79-93. Let's go to this last quarter of this second qualifying final. And Port Adelaide, in the end, have just got over the line against Western Bulldogs by 1 point. Port Adelaide, they kicked 4 goals, 3 to Western Bulldogs, 1 goal, 6. What a fantastic final. Final scores, Western Bulldogs 15-15, 105 to Port Adelaide 15-16, 106. Well, the 2 grand finalists in season 5 are in a preliminary final. So Collingwood's in the first preliminary final and Port Adelaide's in the second preliminary final. We'll show you the road to premiership after the last game. All right, we've got the first elimination final. It's Sydney versus St Kilda. One of these teams are going to be eliminated. All right, so let's go to the first quarter of Sydney versus St Kilda at the SCG. And the first quarter is nearly done. Okay, it's done. Sydney kicking 1-4-10 to St Kilda 1-3-9. 1 point the difference to Sydney. Second quarter. And we've got Sydney kicking 3 goals, 4 to St Kilda, 2 goals, 2. And Sydney are up by 9 points, 32-23. Let's go to the third quarter. Very low scoring in this game. Third quarter's done. Sydney have kicked 5 goals, 2 to St Kilda, 3 goals, 1. And at three-quarter time, Sydney are up by 22 points. Let's go to the last quarter of the third final in the first week. And Sydney have won by 1 point. All right, we've got 2 games that are decided by a point. Sydney have won by a point. Their final score, 10 goals, 12, 72 to St Kilda, 10 goals, 11, 71. In the end, St Kilda just could not get over the line. They kicked 4 goals, 5 to 1-2 in that last quarter. And that has ended St Kilda's season. Let's go to the last game of the first final week. Essendon versus Geelong at Marvel Stadium. Let's go to the first quarter. First quarter's nearly done. Okay, first quarter's done. Essendon, they've kicked 6 goals, 238 to Geelong, 1-5-11. Essendon, they're up by 27 points. It's good to get off to a good lead in the dice game. Second quarter, we've got Essendon, they've kicked 5 goals, 2 to Geelong, 2 goals, 4. And at half time, Geelong are down by 43 points, 27 to 70. Let's go to the third quarter. Third quarter's nearly done. Okay, Essendon, they've kicked 3 goals, 4 to Geelong, 2 goals, 2. And at three-quarter time, Essendon are 51 points in front. Essendon are 92 to Geelong 41. Let's go to the last quarter of this game. Essendon to put Geelong out of its misery. Essendon are victors and won by 38 points. So final scores, Essendon 17-9, 111 to Geelong 10-13, 73. Geelong kicked 5 goals, 2 to Essendon, 3-1 in that last quarter. So Geelong won the last quarter, but in the end, Essendon have ended Geelong's season. So the second week of the finals, we've got Richmond versus Sydney at the MCG. And then we've got the Western Bulldogs versus Essendon at Marvel Stadium. So let's have a look at the road to premiership. All right. So mentioned that Richmond versus Sydney at the MCG, and Western Bulldogs versus Essendon, the second semi-final at Marvel Stadium. And then awaits, so we've got Richmond versus Sydney. So the winner out of that plays Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. And then we've got the Western Bulldogs versus Essendon. The winner out of that plays Collingwood in a first preliminary final at the MCG. All right, that's been the first week of the finals. We'll see you in a couple of days. All right.